What's up, YouTube fam? I'm here in Loveland, Colorado, and today I'm gonna teach you sweepers. Gotta sweep, sweep, sweep! So basically, I just want to touch base. Dino here, bass player for and vocalist for Hairy Durdles, with a trick tip called the sweeper. This is the first of several trick tips, as well as going to document some wins and some progress when it comes to skateboarding. So I hope you enjoy this introductory, beginners / intermediate way to do a sweeper. So this is actually a really fun trick. It's old school, it's stylish, and it feels really good once you come back into the ramp. And I think it can be broken down into 3 parts. But before we get into that, let's talk about foot placement. So I actually like my heel of the rear foot, the foot that's going to be on the tail. I'm regular, but it doesn't matter, regular or goofy. Foot that's on the tail, I actually like my heel a little bit off. That way when I fly out and throw the board up into the lead hand and plant that rear foot onto the deck, having the heel off for me feels like it gives me a little bit of a head start of getting off of the tail and onto the deck. And then your front foot, again, I do like a little bit of the heel hanging off, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter so much, because once you fly up onto the deck, you're going to extend that front foot out, sweep around, and bring everything back in. So the front foot, again, I would just say a little bit off if you want the heel a little bit off, but it also can be right on the bolts. I like it on the front bolts and maybe on the second set, so the set closest to the center of the board. That should do it for you. So I think this trick can be broken down into 3 parts. Number 1, it's a fly out onto the deck of the ramp. You're going to plant your rear foot and keep the front foot with the board, preferably even keep it in contact with the board as you sweep things around. But step 1 would be get good at flying out and planting that back foot on the deck. Practice catching your board and swinging that lead foot up and sweeping it around. Don't even worry about jumping back in yet. That is going to be the 3rd step. The 2nd step is at the actual sweeping motion. So once you get comfortable with flying out, grabbing the board, and planting your foot, start working on the actual sweep. Now, it's going to be slower at first, and that's fine. But what I do recommend is take it as slow as you need it, sweep it all the way around. Good style is a nice extended leg exaggeration on the sweep. But what I like to do is, and again, this is a beginner / intermediate way, but what I like to do is make sure the rear wheels are into the ramp, over the coping into the ramp, before taking that leap of faith and jumping back in. But what I'm getting at is it can happen slowly. Practice the jump back in. So you'll fly out, sweep it around, and then as the sweep can be as slow as you need it to be. But ultimately, you do want to practice jumping back in. You can even reverse engineer this and do sweeper drop-ins, where you just stand up on the top of the deck, put the board in the entry position of the sweeper, and jump into the deck to start off a run, or just get comfortable with that motion. So the 3rd and final step is actually the funnest. It feels the best. And while it may be scary at first, it becomes almost second nature, and a feeling that you look for. It really makes the sweeper, in my opinion. And I should mention, the goal is to do all of these smooth and in one motion. I mean, ultimately, people that do a true sweeper jump back in before the tail touches the copings. Having said all that, this is the way that I currently do sweepers. It's a really fun trick. People love seeing it thrown down in a line at the skate park, and they feel really good. especially the part where you jump back in. So, in conclusion, it's a 3-part trick that you want to aim to do as smooth and in one motion as much as possible, but it's a pop out, fly out, as if you were to pop out of a bowl, or in a mini ramp or a half pipe, where you pop out, you land on the deck, you catch your board with your hand. What you do is you add the plant to that, then you actually do the sweep, bring it around, make sure the wheels are over the coping into the ramp, and then there's that leap of faith where you jump back on the board and right away. One key tip I can say is the more you stay in the ramp for the leap of faith section, the better off you are. You don't want to slip out. It's going to be pretty hard, although possible, to nosedive when you jump back in, simply because you have the board touching the front foot. So it's kind of like a drop in, but your foot's not on the tail, it's on the deck, and you do take a very small leap. Again, I'm going to call it leap of faith back into the transition, but it's a really fun trick. I know you can do it. If you have any questions, if you feel I left anything out, feel free to ask away in the comments, and I'm happy to help you. I hope you enjoyed this trick tip. This is the first of many, as well as I'll be documenting my progress and journey when it comes to the most soulful art form I know, skateboarding. Go! Skate! Sweet, sweet, sweet!